The Nobel Peace Prizes have been announced and the recipients have some things, well, in common. The first recipient is Belarusian activist Ales Bialatsky. He has been in prison since 2021 and is considered by activists as a prisoner of conscience. The second recipient is a Ukrainian human rights organization called the Ukraine Center for Civil Rights, which has been exposing alleged war crimes by Russia. The third recipient is Memorial, a banned Russian human rights organization with two dissidents and one anti-Russia human rights organization getting this big award. And the big question is, are these awards increasingly becoming a political tool of sorts for the West, or were they always that? Now, one thing you definitely have to remember is that the symbol of peace in the world, Mahatma Gandhi, was never given the Nobel Peace Prize, and that is because he perhaps did not serve the political purpose that was popular at that point in time. And let me also tell you that Adolf Hitler was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, which he himself refused. The murderer of 7 million Jews was awarded, or rather considered, for the Peace Prize, but Mahatma Gandhi never was. Let's talk about this with our guest. Joining me on the show is Ambassador Basmati Mukherjee, former diplomat. Also with us is Mr. Sumit Peer, political commentator. Pranay Aggarwal, political analyst, joins us on the show as well. And last but by no means the least, Mr. Gautam Mukherjee, senior journalist, is joining us on the show as well. Pranay, where do you stand on this? In fact, there have been a number of people in the past who did not deserve the Nobel Peace Prize, and yet for the work or the kind of activity that they were involved in that particular time, somehow qualified them into winning this much coveted prize. That is a very myopic view of giving away perhaps the biggest award that there is in the world.
Yes, hi Vineet. What I would say that despite several legitimate criticisms, the Nobels do have a fair amount of merit, in the sense they have a very strong legacy. They've been awarded since 1901, right? So the time factor itself kind of gives some credibility to awards. There is a huge cash prize, which also lends to the validation that it confers on scientists and the other laureates. Also, very importantly, the Nobel Committee has a reputation for selecting some very notable awardees, right? Whether it is the leading scientists like Albert Einstein, Marie Curie, or Alexander Fleming, Heisenberg, or it is peace awardees like Martin Luther King Jr. or Desmond Tutu. Yeah, so they do have a rigorous selection process, and also the fact that the awards are given by Sweden and Norway, right, which for the most part are not in the thick of international geopolitics. That lends some credibility to the awards. Though, yes, there are several areas which, fingers have been pointed out at the Nobel Prizes, and it's not a recent phenomena. It is ironic to begin with that the world's biggest peace prize honors the memory of the inventor of dynamite, right, whom an inadvertent newspaper obituary, Alfred Nobel, was termed as the merchant of death. So yes, there is a clear Eurocentric bias in the awards. There's also a clear gender bias, which is revealed. Few women have been given the awards, and you've had say very undeserving awardees, including Barack Obama, who got the award in 2009.
Even Henry Kissinger, Pranay, even Henry Kissinger was given the award, and yes, he was responsible for secretly conducting a war on Cambodia and killing thousands of people.
And he had also sanctioned raids on Hanoi.
Correct.
Very close to the awards being conferred, and two members of the committee resigned in protest of giving the award to, and you have had people like Yasser Arafat then.
Correct.
Right?
He got a Nobel Peace Prize, Pranay. He got a Nobel Peace Prize for a conflict which still exists.
Yes, absolutely. And, so Mother Teresa from India, but her legacy has also come under question recently. Her views on, that her efforts were more towards proselytization rather than peace, and she glorified poverty rather than fight it. So you've had, and the European Union, right? European Union was awarded the Peace Prize, though it is European nations are amongst the largest producers and sellers of armaments. Right? Barack Obama's, I remember reading, very interestingly, it was termed as, you are not George Bush Award by one of the commentators. So that basically sums it up. And his administration was involved in wars and conflicts in Syria, in Libya. He carried on the Afghanistan legacy for a while. He even went inside Pakistan. It was all during his administration. So he was as militaristic, if not more, as the Bush administration, right? And it was given too soon into his presidency. So yes, there have been non-deserving awardees. Mahatma Gandhi has been the most notable omission by the Nobel Peace Committee, and one of their former directors, he commented, and I quote, "Gandhi could do without the Nobel Peace Prize. Whether the Nobel Committee can do without Gandhi, that is the question." So the committee owes the past awardees, right, who bring repute to the award itself, to maintain the highest standards and not let political bias govern the conferring selection of the awardees. Vineet.
Right, absolutely. Closing thought from Pranay as well, and then we wrap up. Pranay?
Yeah, so Vineet, I do agree in parts with Ambassador Mukherjee. Yes, these awards are definitely not the last word when it comes to gauging a person's contribution to humanity. You have had instances like Sartre turning down the Nobel Prize for Literature earlier because he said he doesn't want to take sides in the East versus West cultural struggle by accepting an award from a prominent Western institution. Alright, India represents like 1/6 of humanity, and we do, I would say frankly, at least currently, the Bharat Ratna awards are far more credible than the Nobel prizes. Also, we do have prizes like the International Gandhi Peace Prize awarded annually by the government of India. It is less well known, far less well known than the Nobel, but it has had notable awardees like Mandela, Tutu, Sulabh International, Akshay Patra Foundation, ISRO, and the list goes on. Right? So,
right, and yeah, you're absolutely right. And let's also remind our viewers that Donald Trump was also very upset that he was not able to win the Nobel Peace Prize for just having a meeting with the North Korean leader, which did not change much. In fact, he admonished and criticized the process of selection. Perhaps for once, Donald Trump was right.